Good evening, and welcome to another scintillating episode of the Pinfall Podcast. I am your host, Liz, and I am joined as always by my
You can try it again.
charismatic, convalescing Cabbage Patch
Okay.
Kid,
Oh, well,
Marcus.
there's a lot of things you could have said instead of Cabbage Patch Kid.
All I could think of was quintessential, and that starts with a Q.
Courageous, confident,
We could also discuss
cool.
the fact that I filled up my water and then I left my water out in the fucking kitchen.
Well, got some beer.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get that. You talk.
Oh my god, why do you do... Why get... Alright, so... We had Smackdown today. I don't know what to riff about. But, this episode of Smackdown was pretty decent. We had the contract signing between Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns for Fastlane. We had great promo from Biggie, which led to him defending the IC title against Sami Zayn. Some cringy stuff with Reginald, and the return of the KO show. So all around, pretty decent. And also stick around if you're new to the show. We have a segment called The Bests of the Night. You can see the graphic up on the screen right now. It will stay up there for the whole episode. We'll be declaring which stuff from the episode is our favorite of the night. We have to do predictions for Fastlane soon.
Yeah, next Friday.
You know what's gonna suck? Predictions for TakeOver and Mania. That's gonna suck.
Whatever. Are we gonna do TakeOver? Are we gonna do it all on Monday?
We'll have to do TakeOver predictions on Raw, and then WrestleMania predictions on SmackDown.
Like, are we gonna do it all in one?
Yeah.
Or do you think we're gonna have to do TakeOver Night 2 on
Nah.
TakeOver Night 1?
We'll do it all in one.
I cannot promise that will be the last time that I have to leave this room, but we'll try.
Okay. Alright. So do you want to jump into the news?
Want to get into the news?
Oh, that's awkward.
Yes, I would. Alright.
Big news day, or I guess news couple days.
Yeah, there's a lot of news today.
Lots happened.
Yeah. Alright, I don't really even know where to start. I'm gonna start with the stuff that I guess means less to me and move into the stuff that means more to me.
Okay.
I don't know how to put that, but like, I don't know, like you save like the headline news for last in the news report, don't you?
No, you start with it.
Oh. Oops. Oh, I'm not a newscaster.
Why it's called front page news.
So let's start with the apparently she's relatively popular backstage. She's a backstage employee. She was one of the writers. Andrea Listenberger, who was responsible for the Mandy and Otis story that happened last year. She was apparently furloughed in 2020, and I don't know if she was ever brought back. It doesn't really. Well, I guess if she was furloughed in 2020, she was brought back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she left, which is kind of sad. It seems like it was because I think they said something along the lines of her husband, I think. The wind just blew the door shut. I think her husband like has a new show or is getting brought onto a show as a new person, and I don't know. She quit. I'm so sorry you're stuck in here, princess. And kind of on the same note as that, Stephanie McMahon has announced that the WWE is making big efforts. That was the words she used, to hire female writers.
Okay.
Which right here. No need to look. I'm a writer and a female.
God, we're gonna have another Otis Mandy storyline, aren't we?
That's all ladies can write these days.
Romance.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's kind of funny that she would say that just on the heels of like one of their female writers quitting. Because when you say they're making big efforts to hire female writers, it sounds like there's like two of them.
Yeah.
Like, if you've got to make a big effort to do something like that, it sounds like you're really slacking in that department.
One of them's Stephanie too.
Yeah, and one's Christine Lubrano. So, but anyways, that's just a small note. Just thought I'd bring that up. Outside of that, let's get into some small news, which is Ben Carter is changing his name already. He is now going by the name Nathan Frazier. Or
Better
Fraser?
than-
I think it's Frazier.
Better than LA Knight.
I want to love him so bad. I do. I've seen his old stuff and I like that. Like,
And that's
LA
just a
Knight?
fact
Like,
of
why
life.
is that the name? Why? Why? Anywho, moving onwards. The WWE also announced that they are going to have a new award, I believe, at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, it seems. And that is going to be the Shad Gaspard John Huber Award. I don't really know. Okay, so the idea is to recognize people who have worked unselfishly in different ways to either benefit the industry or people in the industry working unselfishly in other forms. And the recipients this year are Shad Gaspard himself, Biggie, and Sami Zayn. There's also Tracy Smothers, who passed away on October 28th in 2020. And then on top of that, there are two other recipients. Margaret Stalvey, who's the legal coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars and AEW, and Megan Breck, who's the senior vice president and chief legal officer for the Jaguars, for their efforts in comforting Amanda Huber after the passing of John Huber. I think it's really nice that they're honoring somebody from AEW with this award.
Yeah.
I think that that's a move that I did not see the WWE making.
Wait, who's the person from AEW?
Margaret Stalvey. She's a legal coordinator for AEW.
Okay.
But I didn't really see the WWE doing something that big of them, and it's nice.
Yeah. You know, it's surprising there's one person that you would think would be on that list, but isn't. Titus O'Neil. Considering how much charity work he does.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess, I mean, like, there's only so many people you can honor, and there's a lot of people who do charity work, so I guess it's like, who can we honor that's in the forefront, I guess?
Right.
As shitty as that sounds. But still, I know for a fact when that's announced at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, my ass is going to be sobbing on the ground. I do so good for myself. All right, so let's talk about Asuka.
Oh.
Yeah. So Asuka, apparently, according to Wrestle Talk, lost some teeth. First of all, originally I thought it was a tooth. Now they're saying some.
Oh man.
Which is, luckily they can do implants, and she doesn't want to live partially toothless. She doesn't have to, but that's not the point. The point is that she apparently has a concussion as well, which, it was all fun and games when I said, man, that's the badass Shayna Baszler we needed. And now I'm just like, damn, Shayna. Did you not have kicked her that hard?
She probably feels really bad about that.
I'm sure.
Considering that Asuka's gonna have to miss WrestleMania.
Yeah, it looks like, well, it's not necessarily determined that she's going to miss it. Dave Meltzer said that she could be cleared as early as next week.
Okay.
It's more a question of how bad the concussion is.
Right.
But if she's not cleared, then that starts asking questions like, what are we going to do? And that's just going to be such shit if it's like, her run was so crappy, especially towards the end, like the last 2/3 of it. But it's like, and this is how you lose the fucking title.
Yeah. She's going to get it back at some point. Just because that's how WWE works.
I hope so. I really do.
But, I mean, yeah, it's definitely gonna be put up and vacated. My guess was some kind of gauntlet, or you guessed a Royal Rumble at Mania.
Well, I'm just thinking of like a cool way to bring Becky back into the picture, because I can see Becky coming back and being like, well, that's my title, thanks. I'm glad,
Right.
Asuka held on to it. Or she could be like, what's going on? Or she could be like, I gave this to Asuka and to none of y'all for a reason. Yeah.
Yeah. I still think that the person to get it will be Charlotte Flair, because she was always the intended recipient. I know.
No offense, Charlotte. Love her to death, but just not what I wanted. Okay, so speaking of WrestleMania, actually, WWE has a new goal for how many butts they're putting in the seats.
Okay.
It was originally 30,000. It is now 45,000.
Oh, yikes.
Yep. Which means that it's going to pretty much fill Raymond James to 75% capacity.
Better be 45,000 vaccinated people.
It's just like, we're still in a pandemic. Raymond James, it says here that the capacity for WrestleMania with the stage at Raymond James would have been probably about 60,000.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just like going at this from like we'll take away 15,000 and then that'll be safe. That's social distancing.
Yeah.
If you go to WrestleMania this year, I just want you to know that you're a fucking idiot.
Unless you work
there.
there.
No offense. A total offense. Well, yeah, unless you work there. That doesn't count. Make a living. I'm so sorry that you have to do this. But if you go to WrestleMania as a fan, you're a fucking idiot.
Unless you're vaccinated.
No, because even then, it's like, you can still pass the virus on.
That's not proven. It's not entirely proven, but it's not proven otherwise that you can't pass it on.
Have we learned nothing, though? It wasn't proven that we needed to wear masks, and then all of a sudden we're double masking, so.
Anyway.
I'm just gonna go by instinct. Anywho. Let's talk about Andrade.
Andrade Cien Almas?
Yes. Andrade. So, Mr. Andrade requested a release from the WWE, and now that he has removed any sort of hint towards the WWE from his Twitter page, and I believe his Instagram page.
It's still on his Instagram, I believe.
Okay. He has removed all reference to WWE from his Twitter, which makes one believe that.
Now, that's not, I mean, there's still back and forth of whether he is released. Because
it could be a petty move.
Yeah,
That's
he could have requested it, but His request was denied. But also, he was just tweeted about, like, I think earlier today, by WWE. And it's not like the whole Christian thing where he was tweeted by WWE PR, because WWE PR just, like, recaps interviews and stuff. The WWE official Twitter tweeted about Andrade. So that's more of a reason for, like, reason to believe that he was not released.
Well, to be fair, also, and Wrestle Talk notes this in their article, that Wrestling Inc. is the one that came up with this headline, and they don't have the best track record. So, take that how you will. Obviously, take everything with a grain of salt. It is just because he removed everything from his Twitter that I think more people are talking about it.
Right.
Then that leads to the speculation of where the fuck he would go. And people are kind of getting, like, annoyed because a lot of people are saying AEW, and it's like, Tony Khan has been going off for 2 weeks now about how many fucking signings he has. It makes sense to believe, especially after the article that was talking about how he was interested in talking to Zelina. It would make sense that he would want to bring both of them over.
Yeah, any promotion would be stupid not to try and grab Andrade. People consider him the best wrestler in the world right now. I personally think
I would love.
I personally think he might be leaning towards going to New Japan, just because of his history there.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I think wrestlers thrive over in New Japan in, like, the best possible way.
But you also need to think about, he's engaged to Charlotte Flair, who I don't think he would want to travel to Japan every week. I think that's a little much. So maybe AEW is the way for him. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it is what it is. Who's to say that they're not down with long distance? Yeah.
I mean, considering how many boating trips they go on, probably not.
It is funny to me because I thought about this, and I thought about all the people that have ever been, like, engaged to or married to or dating a wrestler that, like, just vanishes into thin air.
Mm-hmm.
And how, like, then they kind of get treated like shit. And I'm like, but it's Charlotte Flair. How is this going to work now? Can't treat Charlotte Flair like shit.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see where he goes. This once again furthers my questioning about what the fuck is going on with Alistair, though. Just because
I think Alistair's coming back either at Fastlane or Mania.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. What makes you think is this like a founded idea, or is this something that you're just hyped?
I've heard that he might be coming back. Just according to comments and stuff, nothing legitimate, but I think, I don't know. I just have a very strong belief that he's going to be coming back sometime soon.
I think they should do exactly what they did with Seth, more or less. Or they took his storyline but gave him the same face and, like, or not same face, but, like, the same, like, walk out and all that shit. I think they should just take Alistair, keep the storyline. The storyline was fine for an extended period of time if they had people to build it with. But keep the fucking walk out where he rises from the ground. How does that not say evil son of a bitch to you?
Right. No, there are a couple ways to bring him back. One of them is with the new Fiend on Raw. But I think the most likely scenario is on the same brand as Paul Heyman and put him in the Seth Rollins circle. Because right now that's all singles guys. You don't really have anything more than individuals there. There's no alliances.
All the single
really.
ladies.
Yeah, all the single ladies. Right now the the Intercontinental scene is kind of full. You've got Apollo, you got Biggie, you got Sami, you got now Corbin. I
don't think he needs to even be brought back in a title scene, really.
Right, definitely. There is also the chance he'll be brought back to NXT.
If quite literally, if Takeover happens and Aleister fucking Black comes out of the fucking ground, I'm gone. I will be flying around the fucking world at that point because I will be so high off my ass on that.
Imagine 2 matches. Aleister Black versus Finn Balor, and Aleister Black versus Dexter Lumis. Imagine that spine buster.
It's exactly what I want. It's like, I genuinely think that Aleister Black needs to be in NXT. Now that it's not seen as like this like training ground for young people, I think that he absolutely needs to be over there. There's no excuse. His brand matches that grit so well, and then he doesn't have to be like washed out the way he is on the main roster.
Yeah, and I mean,
and Triple H would know what to do with him.
I think it's definite that one of the Undisputed Era guys is going to the main roster, so that's a spot to fill on the NXT roster.
Probably Adam Cole, baby. Probably Adam Cole, baby.
I don't think so. I really don't. I think because
he's the odd man out.
If the main roster wanted Adam Cole, they would have taken him a long time ago.
No, because you have to work with Triple H. You got to work with the people at NXT. If they weren't ready to get rid of him because he has stuff going on, then they wouldn't have.
Not always, because I think Trips has said this, that Vince at the end of the day has the final say, and he can override anything that Trips or Shawn Michaels has to say. But if
Vince isn't like super hot on him.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be Kyle though. I think Kyle's gonna be the one in the main roster. I think he meshes the best. I think Adam Cole is too much of the face of NXT right now to move up.
Well, you will find out.
Yeah.
We have one last piece of news, and this actually perfectly segues out. Thank you. You brought up NXT. NXT might not be moving Tuesdays. So we might only be podcasting for 6 days straight. Let me open up that article so I can get my facts straight. So NXT, originally the whole reason that they'd be moving is because of NHL. Or that's what was reported, I guess. But apparently NHL signed a partial deal with ESPN. And the whole point was that they could have signed that other half of the deal with NBC. It says here that the preferred package went to ABC Disney for $400 million a year, which is double what they were getting with the old NBC deal. And also expect an increase at the NBC deal, so they're looking at maybe 3.5 times what they were getting, and that's with lower ratings. It's confusing because, like, so this is Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez talking. So I don't want to read this whole quote, but Dave said, so for those of you who think that the lower ratings that the WWE was getting will cause them to get a big drop, it is possible because it was something of a surprise that ESPN paid this much because of how much money the NFL is going to cost, but ESPN is very profitable. So basically, the point is whether NXT moves or not is very much all down to this one second half of the NHL deal. So once that's decided, then you'll have your answer.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess nothing's solid.
No, it just kind of gives a little more clearance to the story itself, I think. And tells you what to look out for.
All right. Well, with all that said, you want to move into matches and promos?
Yeah, sure.
We had a hell of an episode. There, that's started. All right. So Smackdown, the big blue. Oh man. All right, so we started with Edge. He's in the ring talking by himself. He mentions a contract signing between Roman and Daniel Bryan that's happening today. Yes.
I'm just seeing if you can see my reflection in the mirror.
Oh, okay. Edge said that Roman said a man like Edge shouldn't face a man like Roman, but Edge comes back and says Roman got played by Daniel Bryan last week. Now he has to defend against Daniel Bryan and then Edge 2 weeks later. And then he lists all of the people he's fought all the time, because right now he turned around to talking about Daniel Bryan and addressing him and saying, like, he says that Daniel Bryan says that he loves wrestling and is doing this because he loves it. Edge, though, really loves it because he's fought all these people like Undertaker, Mr. Perfect, and just lists so many. John Cena, Randy Orton, all of them. And he says that Edge loves this. Daniel Bryan shouldn't feel entitled to a WrestleMania main event because he loves wrestling. But then Daniel Bryan comes out, says Edge also got sucked in and played by Daniel Bryan in all this. He thought Edge would respect Daniel Bryan going into the business for himself. But regardless, he still has an infinite amount of respect for Edge's career. However, he won't allow himself to go into what might be his last WrestleMania on the back burner. Or rather, he allowed himself to go into what might be his last WrestleMania on the back burner. That's why he was so disappointed with Edge pointing at the WrestleMania sign. He says if he wants to main event WrestleMania, he has no choice but to face Roman at Fastlane and win. Edge says that he likes Daniel Bryan, but he doesn't like how he did it, how he got there. Says Daniel Bryan is good, but not better than him. And then that, for some reason, immediately takes us into Street Profits, Rey Mysterio and Dominik Mysterio versus Dirty Dogs and Alpha Academy in an 8-man tag match.
Right on. We have Dawkins versus Roode. Dawkins first takes...
Sorry, we should just start with the fact that Street Profits and the Mysterios came out and were immediately attacked by the other team.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's important too. Ultimately, we do start with Dawkins versus Roode. The effects of the attack aren't really noted at any point until way through, I think. Anyway, so Dawkins versus Roode takes Ziggler off the apron. We get a bulldog to Roode. Montez gets in and drop kicks Roode. Dominik gets in off of that, and then we get an assisted double leg drop from Dominik to Mr. Roode. Dominik hits a nasty little head scissors onto Gable, who is now the legal man. Otis gets in right afterwards because Gable says, I am not interested in any of this. Dom goes off the top rope with the double axe handles, and Otis just fucking swings on him. Just clobbers the poor dude.
I love how heel Otis has been wrestling. He's just brutal. Brutal as hell.
Yeah, it's sort of like he knows his own strength now, and that's kind of like what made him heel.
He can like utilize it now, whereas he had to hold back as a face.
Yeah. So Gable gets on You
want to try again?
Gable gets in off of that. 3 vowels, I think.
Yeah.
We get a snap suplex to Dom. Gable then tries to separate Dominik's leg from his pelvis. Robert Roode gets in, puts Dom's leg into a submission hold, and then Dominik still has the fucking joie de vivre to hit a hurricane DDT that just...
Oh my god. It flattened his face.
Roode just kind of laid there for a second like...
He laid there, and then his reaction was to continually slam his face into the mat.
Dom gets better every week, and every week I think it kind of surprises people. The people he's wrestling.
I kind of hate that though. He's making his dad look worse in comparison.
He's making himself look worse in comparison.
I mean, fair. But also, I think it's just the fact that Dom has all these moves, but he doesn't have the charisma to like back it up.
Yeah, and I wonder if he's ever gonna get it. Really, I think we're gonna be a couple of years away from him actually having any sort of real.
Yeah, I mean, people
like, who was it in fucking Southpaw? Don Johnson or something?
Don Johnson. I don't remember who that is.
I don't know who it was, but the one who had no charisma.
Oh. People talk about Edge a lot, being like somebody who used to be horrible at promos. And then he got on the show Vikings recently, and they say there's pre-Vikings and post-Vikings Edge, where post-Vikings Edge learned how to act and learned how to deliver promos.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think the thing is that's like, he's growing on me more and more every week. But I wonder when Ray's gone if that's going to last.
Ray is a crutch for him right now.
Yeah. Yeah. John Johnson, by the way. That is the name.
Okay.
I just ask enough questions to get me through researching something so that there's no dead air. I can actually look something up. Anywho, so we get Dawkins and Ziggler in. There's a corkscrew elbow to Ziggler and then a back elbow that just rocks Dawkins. Still manages the powerbomb through and through. Dolph gets a sleeper on Montez, who is now the legal man. I believe this was after commercial break. He drop kicks Montez, and Tez attempts to step up insecurity, but Ziggler just dodges it, and Tez falls flat on his face. Ziggler gets a sleeper back on Montez, who this time is really looking like he's fallen on it. Dawkins manages to tag in, though, and the official doesn't see. Dawkins argues while Ziggler drags Montez back to his corner so that Roode, Otis, and Gable can all beat him up. Mm-hmm. Then, of course, once the referee's done yelling at Dawkins, they're just all like, oh, like, well, that just makes you look fucking guilty. Jerks. Robert Roode gets in. There's a backbreaker to Montez. Otis gets in for just a second, I think. I don't think he did anything there. Gable gets in right afterwards, and he attempts a German suplex, but Montez lands on his little feetsies. Ray gets in after that. You get, like, what I guess one could call a head scissors.
Yeah.
Anyways, but he manages a DDT on Gable that, like, it's a Gable, up there.
Gable sold the shit out of that. That looked so good. Just directly on the top of the head.
It looked like if you dropped like a bowling pin. It's like inside down. Bowling side up.
Bowling side up.
I only see the top little knob as the pin.
Ah. Okay.
Otis interferes on the cover from Ray to Gable with a boot to the face. Then things just break down. After a certain point, Dominik was in there. Otis picked him up. Ray sentoned onto Otis's neck, forcing him down. Montez broke the cover from Robert Roode, who tagged in. Gable got sent into the ropes. Roode tagged in off of him. Dominik distracted Roode. Roode got drop-kicked by Ray, and then sent into the ropes by Dom. Ray flew out onto Otis, and then Montez finished it all off with a frog splash onto Roode. I got most of it. That's all you can ask me for.
For an 8-man tag, it was actually a really good match.
Yeah, actually, there were very few moments where I was just like, all right, well, we're doing this again. Like, you know how like sometimes with 8-man tags, you kind of know all the beats already.
Yeah.
You're sitting there like,
But the individual performances were really good, which I think was what really mattered. But also, I just found a tweet, or rather a retweet, which is WWE France making the heel turn of 2021, which is WWE France retweeted a picture tweeted by Jon Moxley in 2020 of Jon Moxley and Cody Rhodes holding up their AEW titles. That's a yikes from me, dude.
you know what? That's what we call in show business. Somebody's getting fired.
The forbidden door has been cracked open just a little bit.
Also, WWE France, we always knew they were the heels. They were the cannibals, and we see them every fucking time we watch a pay-per-view. I don't trust them.
But the weird thing is, though,
What's that?
This picture is from, I think it's May 2020. You know French. What's MAI? Is that May? Or is that March?
MAI? MAI? Oh, that's May. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, it's from May 2020. So, like, they would have had to dig deep into Jon Moxley's, actually not that deep, considering he doesn't tweet that often, but still, they'd have to go back in Jon Moxley's Twitter and search for that. That's weird. That is very weird. Anyway. So after that, we had a little promo with Jey Uso. He's trying to get into Roman's champion suite, but Paul Heyman won't let him. He says, Roman Reigns kind of doesn't want to talk to you right now. After what happened last week. He says, give it some time. He may want to see you later. Just not now. But then we have an interview with Seth Rollins. He doesn't want to talk about Cesaro anymore. But after I think it was Kayla mentioned the rematch later between Cesaro and Murphy, Seth looks like he has some ideas during the rematch.
Seth's looking handsome tonight.
Yeah, he's got a green plaid
a
suit
with a shirt,
turtleneck. Actually has a shirt this time.
Or a shirt today. I mean, my God.
Revolutionary.
Can't say that on this podcast.
AEW Revolutionary shit. Double or Nothing shit. Beach Bird shit. What are some other AEW pay-per-views?
Firefest?
Firefest.
Firefest.
I was gonna say Firefest. I don't think anyone can talk about that anymore.
We're allowed to. It's a pop culture meme. And all the rich people were sad.
We then have, God, this is the cringiest shit we've seen in a long time. We have Reginald walking into a store with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. And they're shopping. Nia says she'll buy Reginald anything. Being a little sugar mama. And so it's just a montage of Reginald buying or trying on suits, doing flips and shit. Shit that annoys me.
Flips. Fucker.
And yeah, he then sits on Nia's lap at the end. Very weird. I mean, I'm not.
You know for a fact.
What?
I was gonna say, you know for a fact that Shayna's just sitting there like, street people.
And I don't even hate this from Nia's perspective, because she's definitely just using Reginald to get to Shayna, or to get to Sasha and Bianca. So it's just Reginald that I hate. I'm back on that
I
train.
didn't want to hate Reginald. I was coming around to him.
Yeah, but then he started doing this. He basically just became a romantic character. Sucks. Why we hated Aaliyah. But
I remember how much how much ire we had when we saw her gently drag her hand against Buddy's arm, and we were like, "No!"
anyway, moving on.
He knew what was happening.
Actually, good transition. We now have Cesaro versus Buddy Murphy.
I'm never getting Seth and Murphy back together, am I?
I think they're taking us down that route. I think we're gonna get it in some way. Either we're gonna get them together or we're gonna get them fighting.
I think what's gonna happen. I'll wait to talk about my predictions until after we're done with this. I do have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Very Sethy idea.
Okay.
So Cesaro versus Murphy. Seth comes out immediately. Shows he brings out his chair to observe at the top of the ramp. So Murphy spears Cesaro into the corner. Get a nasty European uppercut to Murphy. Murphy's then slammed into opposite corners a couple of times before going ringside and slapping Cesaro in the fucking soul. Like, just... No, sorry. Hang on. No. Pause. I didn't read the rest of my note.
Okay.
Read the rest of that. What I said was slapping Cesaro in the fucking soul with a pump knee strike. That's what I meant. This connection and everything, it looked oof. Woof. Anywho. Murphy then goes up top once they're back in the ring together and is halted by a dropkick from Cesaro. Fuck the camera people or whoever was in charge of angles that we got, because it was a horrible angle. So bad. Sorry. My laptop corrected superplex to perplexed again.
Nice.
But Murphy is almost fucking said it too. Murphy is then superplexed from the apron. Cesaro's got he's up on the second rope, I think, at this point. And you know the fucking strength a man has to have to lift another man from one position and then throw him clean 180 over.
Yeah, that was when Murphy was on the apron, right?
Right. He was laying there.
That was crazy.
The dropkick rocked his ass.
That was a high drop kick.
There was no drop to it, really.
It was all rise.
The dropping was Murphy. The rise kick. An ever rise kick.
Nope.
Rise rules.
No.
Get some uppercuts in separate corners to Murphy. Murphy meets him with a boot on the third attempt, I think. And then goes up to the top rope again, goes off that top rope, and is caught by the legs. Dropped right into a swing. And Seth does not care for that shit one bit. He interferes and just starts slugging Cesaro, stomps him once, stomps him a second time, goes to stomp him a third time. This time with Cesaro's head stuck in a folding chair a la Bailey, Gemini's think the same. Before he can do that, one of the officials and then a bunch of referees come out. Charles Robinson lays his life on the fucking line, throws himself over Cesaro. Charles, we already lost one of the referees this fucking week. We can't lose another.
Charles is invincible. How dare you? He took
Charles
that fall.
Just try it.
He took that fall during the Braun Bray match when the ring collapsed. He can take anything.
Realized nothing could hurt him. It's dangerous now. Yeah, so Seth is pissed off now, and then as Seth goes to vacate the area when I thought that he might come across Mr. Murphy, Mark got his wish to come true. And there was Shinsuke, standing in gorilla position, It's like, that's my best friend that you just tried to savagely murder. And now I will try to savagely murder you. And I said, you know what? If I can't get you guys together, like, on camera, I'll take this.
I have some breaking news now. That's what I was trying to say during the match, but figured it was rude to do it during the match. Andrade's request was denied, according to Dave Meltzer.
That's not good at all. Imagine being like, hey, can I fuck off? And then being like, no.
But here's the thing. They might have denied it, but also offered him like a storyline, like a good storyline.
I mean, in fairness, you know, people like Sasha Banks have requested to be released and weren't.
Mm-hmm.
And now look at them.
Yeah, exactly. And he was never drafted. He was never in the draft at all, so he could go to any brand at this point.
That's true. I hope that whatever happens is for the best for him.
Yeah, I hope so too. So after that match, we have Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens backstage. Sami wants Kevin to be a little part of his little documentary. Kevin's just like, I'm sorry, I got the KO show to do. But Sami was like, no, it's okay. This documentary is gonna pull big numbers. It's gonna pull Logan Paul numbers. Kevin says, I'll think about it. I got my show, but I'll think about it. So then we have Edge and J backstage. A little unlikely confrontation. Edge talks about how he knew Jay's family. He's wrestled with them, and he asked Jay what he's doing. Well, why? Like, he's being treated like a second-class citizen in his own family. Why is he doing this? And then Jay responds saying, "You don't know me. You don't know what goes on in the family." And then we go to the KO show. Special guest Sasha and Bianca. Kevin says he starts off before even introducing the guests. He says he's been gone for the past few weeks. He says time has been a little rough on him since the Roman Reigns matches. So, but he's back. He's back. He says after Sasha and Bianca come out, he gets them down and says only 2 others have gone to face each other at WrestleMania while tag team champions, and that is John Cena and Shawn Michaels. However, you see some underlying tension between Sasha and Bianca, and some underlying tension possibly with Sasha because of Reginald. Sasha responds saying that she can't help that she looks good and Reginald is in love with her. Bianca says that Sasha's just entertaining him, therefore causing the problems amongst them. And then Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Reginald come out, talk some shit for like a second, and then Natalya and Tamina come out to lead right into a tag team match between Sasha Banks, Bianca Belaire versus Tamina and Natalya. And my God, was this match a little disappointing.
Yes, it was, because we only watched half the match.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So did the referee. Actually, so did Charles.
Corey Graves didn't watch any of it.
I don't know if I can talk about it. Anyways, first of all, let's discuss Charles Robinson. That's not what I want to talk about.
Why do you want to talk about Charles Robinson?
What I wanted to talk about was first Maddie and Tamina with their matching ensembles.
Mm-hmm.
And Tamina's hair matching their ensembles as well. Yeah. They looked so good. They looked like a full-ass tag team. And I said, now, sorry, are we allowed to have lady tag teams that like actually stick together? Besides the Riot Squad?
Yeah, I was gonna say. But what is it? If only they could change Tamina's walkout to something not horrible.
Yeah. Good luck with that. I'm pretty sure she's had the same walkout for like years now.
Just pull a Dolph and Roode, combine their songs.
Except get rid of Natty's guitar solo in the beginning. It always scares me when it happens.
That's a tribute to Bret Hart.
I understand, but it scares me every time it happens. Like a
Okay.
Anywho, so we start with Sasha versus Tamina. Tamina slings Sasha into the corner. Natty gets in off that. Sasha then slaps the absolute fucking Christ out of Natty's face. Like, that was such a loud slap, and I don't think Natty was expecting it to be that hard either, because Natty was just like... After watching enough of Total Divas, I feel like Natty probably chewed Sasha out backstage afterwards. But then an arm drag sends Natty from the ring. We get a basement dropkick to Natty. Sasha goes to approach Nia and Shayna, and then decides, I'm going back to the ring. Goes back to the ring. Natty hits her with a lariat. He gets in for a little stomp before Natty gets back in. We get a snap suplex to Sasha. Bianca gets in. It's multiple drop kicks on Natty. We get a spine buster to Natty. And then Reggie distracts Charles before Bianca goes into the cover, forcing Charles to miss the cover. Natty then slams Bianca down. Sasha chases Reggie into the ring for some fucking reason. Don't know what that was about. That was stupid. Charles then misses another move from Bianca. Natty runs into Sasha's back because Sasha's in the ring now, and like in a way that looked kind of like a receipt for the slap. Sasha's back just went. And then Tamina rolls up, or rather slams down, and then rolls up Bianca to win. Just listen, I'll take a Natty Tamina win anywhere I can. Natty ended up also getting punched in the face, by the way. Just in case that was important. But it was just chaotic. It was bad. Shayna Baszler sat there looking exactly how I felt the entire time.
You know, unpopular opinion. Unless this leads to Natty and Tamina taking Sasha and Bianca's spot in Fastlane, giving Sasha and Bianca this many losses is the worst way to build up a title match at Fastlane, plus another title match at WrestleMania. I mean, come on. Let them look good.
We talked about this, you and I, last week, when I said exactly that, which is there's two ways that they're going to get out of this. And by get out of this, I mean see the end finish line. And that's either Bianca and Sasha get the tag belts and then have to fight each other, which isn't that unrealistic, but still. And then the other way, which seems to be the way that they're taking right now, which is make Sasha and Bianca look like fucking idiots.
Right.
Which doesn't really get them over, does it?
Especially since I think Bianca and Sasha's gonna main event night 1 of WrestleMania.
That would make sense.
But I don't know. I think this is kind of stupid. This whole storyline is kind of dumb. I don't know. I think they just should not have Sasha and Bianca going for the tag titles. It's so dumb. It is so dumb. Like, there's no reason. Give that title shot to Tamina and Natalya instead, or Riot Squad, or whoever. Anyone. Should go to Lana and Naomi.
Yeah.
But stemming from this, we have Bianca and Sasha in a promo backstage. Sasha says that Reginald's only being petty because of Bianca. Not true. Bianca's definitely in the right here, being annoyed of all this. But I don't know. Sasha is grating on me at this point. She's annoying me. Like,
I don't want her to annoy me, but she frustrated me today. Only because, like, yeah, I guess, like, we can't blame her for the fact that Reggie's, like, up her ass, but at the same time, like, you did actively flirt with him, get your way, which good for you. Now it's kind of you're not reaping the benefits. In fact, you're reaping the negatives, and you might have to own up to that.
Like, there's no reason to keep him around unless, like, I don't know. No, it's dumb. But then,
you don't want her to grate on your nerves because she's the champion, and you want her to be. You want Bianca and Sasha to go to that WrestleMania event and have, like, you want to be sitting there like, holy fuck, look at these two legends.
Right. Even like when Miz was WWE champion for like a week or two, that was like the one moment where he didn't grate on everyone's nerves. Where he was like a good character. I mean, he went kind of right back to being annoying, but champion, because you're in the spotlight, you're supposed to, like, get your act together. But anyway, we have a promo with Biggie. And I actually want to start this off by reading a little bit of news that I just found from an hour ago. It's about Apollo
Biggie
Crews.
convalescing again?
No. Apparently, Nigeria's presidential aide, Bashir Ahmad, endorses Apollo Crews.
Okay.
Yeah.
For him.
That's interesting. So, back to the promo. Biggie comes out with like a neck brace, a crutch, bandages, a sling. And then Willy Wonka's us. Throws it all away. Comes in all hot and aggressive. He gets in the ring and says had plenty of time to think while laying in a hospital bed. He says Apollo crossed the Rubicon. He opened up Pandora's box. Said there's no coming back. He made Biggie go all biblical right now. Biggie said pinning won't be enough. He's gonna bulldoze Apollo's house at this point. And Biggie said, you know what? There's no need to wait. No need to wait. Let's do it right now. He calls out Apollo, says, if you want the title, come and get it right now. Do it. Apollo does not come out. And so, after a while of waiting, Biggie decides to extend the open challenge from a few weeks ago. And says that whoever comes out, you know, challenges him for the title. King Corbin comes out in his $10,000 suit. He says, hold on. Biggie, you're acting a little crazy. He says, I'm not dressed to fight, but I am willing to tear up this $10,000 suit. And then Sami comes out and immediately says that he's accepting. Corbin gets a little mad, but Sami's like, you didn't accept. You're going to, but it's on tape. You did not accept. I accepted first. And then Biggie's just like, guys, come on. You know what? Whoever gets in the ring first can go for the title. And so Sami rushes in the ring. And then Biggie immediately just starts beating on him. And then that leads us right into Sami Zayn versus Biggie for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yes, indeed it does. Biggie sends a knee into the midsection of Zayn. Sami kicks Biggie in the stomach before grinding on his head for a bit. We get a big back elbow to Sami. Even sends Sami so hard into the buckles with an Irish whip that his ass hits the top buckle. For a full second, I was like, I think Sami Zayn is dead. Sami then took to clubbing Big E before choking him out against the ropes. We got an elbow to the head of E off the ropes, and Big E catches Sami in the air with a belly-to-belly suplex. Big E has Sami on the apron. He's calling for Apollo. He goes for that big splash, but he spent so much time calling for Apollo that Sami got his wits about him and rolled away, so Big E lands ribcage first into the apron corner. Eventually, both men get up to the second rope. Sami hits a sunset bomb to E, who kind of starting to power up after that. Sami keeps slapping him. Mm-hmm. Big E's getting that look on his face. You get a clothesline to E that Big E just runs right fucking through. And then Big E hits Sami with a clothesline of his own that sends Sami inside out.
As Sean Ross Sapp put it, Biggie just Red Rovered Sami.
Precisely. And finally we get the big ending to win. Apollo comes out. We get 2 Dominator slams to Biggie, and then a set of stairs to the arm of Biggie. And I guess, I don't know, man. It kind of felt weird to like not even let him fight back a little bit.
No, I loved this. I love this.
Really?
Yeah. This is Apollo being a fucking dick. He's being an asshole. Oh,
I love Apollo just being a dickhead.
It's more personality than he's ever gotten. Ever.
True. I'm not missing the smiley little Apollo that has nothing but just love in his veins.
I don't miss Titus Worldwide Apollo. That was bad. But yeah, this is so good. I was a little worried about giving Biggie the Intercontinental Championship. I thought giving him a title would kind of make him stale. Like it has a lot of champions. But they have been really making his run so good. It's been fantastic. God, and it also helps that Biggie and Apollo just seem to have such great chemistry that they work off each other so well. It's so good. But unfortunately, that joy has to come to an end as we have an interview with Nia, Jax, and Reginald. Reginald suggests to Nia that she challenges Sasha next week for the title so that she can go into WrestleMania as a double champ. But then, to wrap up the night, we have the contract signing between Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. They both sit down at the table. Roman, of course, has to sit at the head of the table. And Roman tells Daniel Bryan he doesn't want to do this. Roman says he's not feeling it anymore. Daniel Bryan doesn't deserve this. I would have loved this if Roman legit just backed out of this match. It was just like, not anymore. Just not.
Not feeling it.
Yeah. Daniel Bryan, he's like, you know what? I'm excited. Let's do this. He just signs it anyway. He's like, yeah, I'm happy. I'm excited. Let's have this match. Let's fight.
Once again, you get 2 Geminis fucking sitting there trying to do shit, trying to get shit done, and it does not get done.
At the end of the day, it got done, though.
It's just incredible to me how much they fucking talk.
Daniel Bryan then says that Roman's afraid to fight him. He gets it now. Roman's afraid to fight him now. That's why he had to come out late or so soon after the Elimination Chamber match, because he's afraid of Daniel Bryan. Gets it. He made Jay quit last week, and so he's just afraid to sign the contract. And so Daniel Bryan just goes off about how he's now the self-proclaimed head of the table. He is now the big dog. And Roman's just like, alright, you know what? Fuck it. I'll sign the goddamn contract. Daniel Bryan then says that he's going to tap out Roman, just like he did Jay. And then Jay, he fucking throws the table. And gets all up in Daniel Bryan's face. No idea what he's saying. Throws a chair even. Edge then comes out. And Edge says, hey Jay, I'm going to have my first singles match on Smackdown in 11 years. And the winner gets to be the special enforcer for the Fastlane match. Now, no matter who wins this, Daniel Bryan's fucked. Because Jay wants Roman to win, obviously, and Edge wants to face Roman. So nobody's going to help Daniel Bryan. No one. This sucks for Daniel Bryan. Unless Edge suddenly turns around and is like, you know what, I want to face you, DB. Let's go. Like, this is stupid. And then things go to shit as everyone starts attacking each other. Edge attacks Jay. I think Daniel Bryan attacks Roman, or vice versa. And then Edge charges at Daniel Bryan, but Daniel Bryan knees him in the face. And then it's just left Daniel Bryan standing all alone, which goes to show that Daniel Bryan will lose at Fastlane. Whenever you have that moment of somebody standing in the middle, up high above everyone else, they're gonna lose.
Yep.
Come the pay-per-view. I think it's also a rule that if you put your hand on the title prior to the match, like if you raise the title up high before the match comes, you're gonna lose.
Okay.
The only exception was Bobby Lashley. All right, so that was today's episode. Now, do you want to jump into the best of the night?
I would love to, sir.
But before we do that, we have to recap Mark's, or I guess the Pinfall Podcast power rankings from this week. We didn't last week, but we have to this week now. So, I just want to add, there is only one person on this list from NXT now. It used to be dominated by NXT, but now there's only one. So, number 10, from Raw, the WWE Champion himself, the almighty Bobby Lashley, just sitting at number 10. Number 9, the new challenger for the Universal Championship, from SmackDown, Daniel Bryan. Number 8, the Universal Champion himself, from SmackDown, Roman Reigns. Number 7, Swiss Cyborg, Cesaro. Number 6, one half of the Raw Tag Team Champions, Cedric Alexander. Number 5, the former WWE Champion, now Sheamus's ex-best friend, Drew McIntyre. Number 4, the current Intercontinental Champion, Biggie. Number 3, one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions, Shayna Baszler. Number 2, the other half of the Women's Tag Team Champions, Nia Jax. And sitting at number 1 with a record of 6-1 so far, the NXT Champion, Finn Balor. So, I think it's very interesting where we're at in this list. Finn is like way at the top. And then you have Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan sitting comfortably next to each other. And Big E's so far at the top. Anyway, best of the night. So let's start off with promo of the night. There is a lot to talk about with promo. So we start off with Edge talking in the ring by himself. Daniel Bryan comes in. That was good. It was pretty decent. I mean, nothing too special out of this promo. A little more talking from Edge, but nothing outstanding. We then had Jay and Paul Heyman backstage. That was okay. Seth interview. Sure, whatever. Reginald shopping with Nia and Shayna. That was fucking god-awful. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens backstage. That was a little fun. Edge and Jay backstage. I really liked that. I really liked the interaction between Edge and Jay because Edge really had Jay thinking for a second, like kind of reconsidering his actions. I love this. I think it'll lead to some big stuff. How soon will it lead to big stuff? Who knows? But I thought it was just a great little interaction. Then we had the KO show, which was... God, it sucked. The only reason it was like not horrible was because Kevin Owens is fucking hilarious. Then we had Bianca and Sasha backstage. That was fine. Then we had Big E. Big E blew away this promo. He just went off. seeing serious Biggie that's all aggressive and out for blood. God, it's so good. It was amazing. And then you had I liked Corbin's interaction here, and I think Corbin and Sami have become like a good duo. Not really a tag team, but a good duo. Their chemistry is like really good together.
That's fair.
But Biggie just nailed this promo. My God. It was fantastic. Then we had Nia and Reginald interview. That was fine. And then we had the contract signing, which is good. It was really good. I don't get the whole special enforcer thing. I don't get what the benefit is for anybody. I think it'll completely ruin the match. Unless their intent is to ruin Fastlane so that WrestleMania looks better in comparison.
Maybe.
But honestly, that's all you can do right now to make WrestleMania look good.
We've talked about this a couple times, but like we know WrestleMania is going to pale in comparison to TakeOver, and it's going to be so.
It's
exactly what Vince deserves.
It's because
we'll have fans, which is like one of those things where like I'm excited about it, but I'm excited to have fans back, but I'm not excited to have fans back.
We're excited to witness the fans.
Right.
But I think TakeOver is going to be great because it won't have a pay-per-view right before it. You know? It won't even have an episode right before it.
True.
But the contract signing was pretty decent. So, my pick for promo of the night, Biggie returns. 100%.
Yeah. Gotta give you that. He looked really good. He looked impassioned. He used big words.
This promo, and I think the Apollo promo from 2 episodes ago, really solidified Biggie's and Apollo's story as like the best thing about about SmackDown right now. All right, so wrestler of the night. We started off with the 8-man tag match: Street Profits, Rey Mysterio and Dominik Mysterio versus Dirty Dogs and Alpha Academy. I'm giving this to Chad Gable. Chad looked fucking awesome. He looked fantastic, and selling Dominik's DDT to where he landed directly on his head. It was so good. I mean, Chad can only do German suplexes, but make them look amazing every single time. I hope they give him the respect that he deserves, which is like the same respect Kurt Angle got. I want to see Chad Gable like do amazing things in WWE. Then we had Cesaro versus Buddy Murphy. Cesaro killed it. Cesaro looked fantastic. I mean, that superplex off the apron, the drop kick that was not a drop kick. Cesaro, he looks amazing in like the smallest matches. I don't know how or why he does it, but my God, he's like there to impress somebody. Then we had. Oh wait, I missed a match. Oh no, okay. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belaire versus Tamina and Natalya. What did I pick for this? I picked Bianca. Yeah. I think Bianca looked the best here. That's no real reason why. I thought everyone else looked okay at best. I don't know.
Yes, I get that.
Watching it, I was like, oh, that's the reason why Bianca's the best in the match, but I can't remember the reason. And then lastly, we had Sami Zayn versus Biggie, and my God, Biggie looked phenomenal. Balancing wrestling in the match with calling out Apollo. Had the mix of emotions, perfect for best of the night, and he just absolutely rocked it. God, picking the best wrestler tonight is really difficult. Definitely not Bianca. I'm not gonna give it to Chad either. And because his match was so short, I'm gonna not give it to Cesaro. So I'm gonna give it to Biggie.
Yeah, okay. He did have the longest match of pretty much anybody tonight, it seemed.
It's very short matches.
Yeah. My notes actually did not exceed 4 pages tonight.
It's like
So
this would seem like a pre-pay-per-view episode, but it's not.
yeah, I think, but again, this is what I've told you, is that I think that this is just going to be a bunch of pre-pay-per-view episodes up until WrestleMania, really.
Yeah. Kind of sucks, but you know. It is what it is. Now
It's
match.
unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, but you know, fine. This wasn't a bad episode. All right, so we had Street Profits, Rey Mysterio, and Dominik Mysterio versus Dirty Dogs and Alpha Academy. This was a good match. I really liked how everyone performed. Even Rey and Dominik performed well. Robert Roode was great. Dolph was pretty good. And then Alpha Academy was fantastic. Street Profits, great as always. I mean, this was an 8-man tag that wasn't super chaotic and confusing. I really liked it. Thought it was a lot of fun. Just don't know why we got it. Like,
Yeah.
why?
I think that's because they didn't have time to put it into. I don't think that they had time to put it into 2 separate matches, but they wanted to get it out.
I get that. I guess. I don't know. I think, actually, you know, I do think that this is just for, to look at who might be contending for the tag team title. Why they threw in Dirty Dogs in it.
Yeah. Get that.
Then we had Cesaro versus Buddy Murphy. It would have been great if this match would have been longer. We didn't really see anything from Murphy. But Cesaro looked really great. But again, this match just needed to be longer. They could have cut out all the Nia and Reginald stuff today, and I would have been happy.
And did not need that.
Yeah, and even like if you remove that from context and still go into the KO show where they show up, it still makes sense. You wouldn't think, oh, where did he get that new suit from? No, you wouldn't think that.
Even if we made the whole deal about like, oh, show off your new suit, we literally could have had like a 5-second interruption where Nia was like, I bought this for him.
Yeah.
And I didn't need anything else.
Yeah. Yep. But speaking of which, we have the Sasha Banks and Bianca Belaire versus Tamina and Natalya match. Not a good match. I didn't think so at all. It was very short. Focus was barely on the match, more so on Reginald being a fucking asshole.
Listen, I liked Tamina and Natty winning, but I think right now it's just, I think this was a rare fluke because we've had really good Tamina and Natty matches lately, and like matches where like I get the good old NXT, oh Jesus Christ, did you just hurt somebody feeling, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But after that, we had, lastly, Sami Zayn versus Biggie. Great match. I thought this was great from both guys. Sami looked better than normal. I mean, that power bomb out of the corner looked great. And Biggie just looked fantastic. Just running through Sammy's clothesline just showed how powerful he is, that in and of itself.
I didn't even notice the clothesline.
Yeah, I noticed it only because Corey Graves made a point to say that Biggie just ran through Sammy's clothesline.
That's when I realized it.
And And then you mix in all of the Apollo stuff too. So fantastic. This match was really good. This was like the highlight of the episode right here. Like this last, what was it, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes? Great. Everything from the Biggie promo on was good stuff. So, my pick for best match of the night is Sami Zayn versus Biggie for the IC championship.
Yeah. I hate to say it. I do. I agree with you. I wanted there to be a better match than this, but there really wasn't tonight. Tonight felt very weird and very stilted.
Yeah.
And just not all there, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think their focus too much is on Roman, Edge, and Daniel Bryan. Like, I mean, I get it, but you don't need all of this around them. You don't need all of this around Reginald and Shayna and Nia. Like, we get it. Build up other stuff too.
I think one thing that worked really well, at least for this, was that we haven't seen Edge in like a week. I think that worked really well because Edge came out and I was like, oh shit, it's Edge!
But then thinking back on that first promo, it's like, okay, you got Edge in here to just earn him his paycheck because he didn't say anything really new. It wasn't until the contract signing where he actually said something of value, and that promo with Jay. But I don't know. I think this was a very 50-50 episode.
That's fair.
But to run it back, our promo of the night, Biggie returns, wrestler of the night, Biggie, match of the night, Sami Zayn versus Biggie. Biggie sweeps the bests of the night.
Okay. There's always tomorrow.
It's always tomorrow for Sami.
Yeah. And I'm also pissed about that. We didn't get more Sami breaking down into like nervous wreck.
Right, yeah.
I need Sami to break down to a nervous wreck. I'm starting to, like, I love Sami to death. When I see him on camera, I'm just like, my boy. But also, like, for his character, I need him to lose his shit.
Yeah. Yep. I feel like something will happen at Fastlane to, like, tie that up. Maybe, like, that camera guy he beat up will come back and beat Sami up.
Maybe.
Or maybe they'll probably wait till Mania to release the documentary. Because I know they're going to do that. But, yeah. Liz, would you like to close out the show?
I would. If you joined us tonight, thank you so much for joining us. If you join us in the future, thank you so much for joining us. Happy St. Patrick's Day. That's coming up.
Next week?
Yes. And happy Liz got vaccinated. Hope I didn't die day. Anyways. Please join us on Monday for our Monday Night Raw podcast, where we talk about Monday Night Raw against our will. Because the cat runs the show, and God forbid we miss one fucking episode. God bless.
Wish we could just skip it. But, you know.
If we hadn't sold our soul quite like we have, I would be fine with skipping it. But we've sold our soul at this point, so.
We could be the Smackdown NXT post show. Smackdown NXT AEW Dark. That's it. Weird ass post show.
Yeah. Options there. Anyways.
Yep, thank you all for watching.
That's all I got.
If you enjoyed, hit that follow or subscribe button. Check us out on YouTube, the Pinfall Podcast. We have all of our previous episodes there. The NXT episode will be up very soon, probably tomorrow, along with the SmackDown episode, aka this one. If you're watching on YouTube, check out the live show, twitch.tv/The Pinfall Podcast. Our Twitter is at Pinfall Podcast. I am at the Mark Cameron. Liz is at Eliza Elaine 23. And don't forget to check out the Universal Pokemon Federation YouTube channel. We have a new episode coming out next week. You won't want to miss it. I think the tagline is like, stay to the end. Watch till the end, something like that. You'll want to watch till the end. It'll be awesome. Thank you all for watching. See you on Monday for Monday Night Raw, unfortunately. Have a fantastic weekend.